Hey everybody, Jeremy here from Shade Tree Vintage Auto, and today we're not working on the Dart. We're going to work on the orange thing that I'm going to call the MAX-Wagon. Okay, so here is the MAX-Wagon, and some of you guys probably seen this when I did the unveil on my 1 year video last Monday. Really, the only thing that's changed pretty much from then is I needed to put aired up tires on it, so we put these Keystones on since I had them. Turning to a walk around, the car's really not that bad. There's some rust down here, there's minor dents and dings. Definitely gonna have to figure out something other than the silicone like that on the windows. The worst part of it is the floor. You can see the floor is pretty bad in a couple places. Luckily it has subframe connectors to hold it together. You've got these sweet holes right here on both sides, and those are for these big whip antennas you might can see that are seriously like 7 feet tall. So those are going to be awesome when you're going down the drag strip. And of course the student driver sticker or magnet. And then you saw it was a 4-speed, but the coolest part by far is right here. 426. Look at that awesomeness. Anyway, we're gonna get this thing fired up today. Maybe, just maybe, take it for a drive. But when we were unloading it, I pushed the brakes just to see if it had any brakes, and this front wheel locked up. So we're gonna have to figure out what's going on up there. I do already have some parts coming for it, and hopefully myself, Cameron, and Kevin can make this thing go around the block today. Anyway, wish us luck. Well, we are going to get started. First, I wanted to show the fender tag because somebody did comment in the other post that it should be a 999 paint code, and sure enough, it is a 999 paint code with a factory tan interior. But anyway, now we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna check the oil. We're gonna pour water in it and see if it holds water. Just see what's going to go on. We will be changing the oil, but I just want to see what condition it is, give it a good sniff and see if it's burnt or anything. We're going to go from there. Cameron's going to go ahead and pull the oil dipstick.
It's a little low. Right about there. Yeah. So it needs a couple quarts.
Doesn't look terrible.
But
still feel all right?
Still feel all right.
Did you taste it? I'm just kidding. Don't taste it. It's bad for you. Now we're gonna get some water. Radiator's not getting wet, so that's good.
No, not leaking out the radiator.
I did notice earlier that the petcock valve down there was open, and I already closed that. Sorry I didn't video it for you guys.
Something's leaking. It's peeing on the floor.
Right there. That could be freeze plug. Could be, but hopefully not a crack in the block. Kevin's looking.
Got a plug missing from the block.
Oh, and thankfully it sounds like it's just the drain plug on the block.
Yeah. Oh, smashing.
So we're gonna have to go get that. We're gonna make a road trip into O'Reilly's here in a moment. I know we need some brake fluid, and we need to get all the other parts, the parts that I ordered, all the stuff for oil change, and just a few other odds and ends. I really hope we can drive this today. It's gonna be a little sketchy with no back seat and no seat brackets on the passenger seat, but there's plenty of room for 3. So we're gonna go grab some parts. We're gonna take this sweet old Volare because this car is awesome. Okay, we just got back from O'Reilly's. We have the oil and filter and everything here now. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, the plug on the block was removed, which is a good thing. That means he drained the block years ago, so there shouldn't be any problems. So we're gonna replace that. While we're under there, we'll go ahead and drain the oil and do an oil change on it. And then we'll start messing with the system, priming it, and seeing if it's gonna fire. Okay, so we've got the plugs in, thanks to Kevin and Cameron climbing under there. They're a lot more agile than I am. And then the oil is changed, so that time lapse, I know some of you guys are gonna say, well, I wanna see what you were doing. It was really basic stuff, nothing special. So now we're gonna add the coolant. I've already put the oil in. Then we're gonna see if I can get the engine to turn by hand. And if I can't, we'll hit it with the breaker bar and see what happens. Also, while I am doing this, Kevin is over there trying to break that other side, the wheel loose, so he's pulling the drum off. We're going to put new wheel cylinders in it, and as soon as I get done with this, we'll do some video of that. But now to see if it will actually hold coolant. It was missing both plugs, so luckily I bought two. So leaking down there yet?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
It's leaking water?
Yes.
Where?
Up the back. I can't tell. It's on the driver's side.
Do you want me to pour some more in so you can see?
I don't know where that's dripping from.
Here's, I'm putting some more in.
We got a bad freeze plug.
So it's leaking out a freeze plug?
Yeah, right behind the starter.
So the easiest one to get to is what you're saying. By easiest, I'm being very sarcastic. It's
this one. This one that you can't tell those people.
So we'll have to pull the starter to get to that?
Yeah, because it's right behind the starter.
Okay.
The bottom of that freeze plug is leaking.
And I don't have any freeze plugs, so we'll have to buy a freeze plug. Well, we can still try to start it. We'll just have to replace that freeze plug. There's already some other things we've found that probably be best just to pull the engine and transmission out and go through it. The mounts are not great as far as the motor mounts. There's some bolts missing in the back. I really am kind of come to the conclusion that the gentleman that was building this just didn't finish it. It wasn't that he was taking shortcuts or anything, he just didn't finish it. But sometimes the best thing to do to make sure things are done right is just kind of start over. Also, the block is stamped 426 up here, but the build date, the casting date is 68, so I'm pretty sure it's a 440. We just couldn't see the casting number because the starter's in the way. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll turn over. It budged. So it should be a 1 1/4. Feels right. The fan does turn, so I'm gonna try to make some room down there. So it's turning just fine. You can see once I get it on there, it's rotating just fine. So just went a little bit. There's no sense going further. We know it's not seized. So We will see if it'll fire up here in a little bit. Probably wait till it gets on the ground. It hasn't been a real long time since this thing was fired up, so I'm not sure if I'm going to worry about priming the system. The oil all looked good and everything. So I'll do a little bit of thinking while we're playing with the front wheels. So the brakes came apart inside of the drum, and that's why it was locked up. I'm gonna have to order some more parts for this. Also need to find bearings for the hub. So unfortunately, I know I'm not gonna get to drive it today, but that doesn't mean we can't try to fire it up. So we're gonna probably clean this up a little bit and then work on getting it fired up. So I decided, instead of priming it, by the way, that was a wasp, and he's back. This has been the worst year for wasps I've seen in a long time. But anyway, so instead of priming the oil system, I'm not going to. Like I said, it hasn't been that long ago that it ran. It could be a benefit, but anyway. I am, however, going to use two-stroke fuel to prime it because there's a bit more oil in this, so it'll help lubricate some of the stuff that otherwise wouldn't have oil. It's also 92 octane and ethanol free. So we're going to use this to prime it. If it fires up, we will hook up an auxiliary tank and see if it actually runs. So I'm kind of excited, crossing my fingers. So we're going to get the battery in and get going. If I don't trip over the tire.
Yeah, then you'd be a little tired.
Then I'd be tired?
Yeah.
Really? Yes. You're a dad joke right now?
I'm with the internet.
It's pretty
Don't smell anything burning. Who wants to
Except for the screen.
run the fuel for a second?
Well, it's not the first time I've been on fire, might as well.
Just remember, if it starts on fire, just keep pouring more fuel. Don't do that.
I didn't say it, I said me.
Okay, so there's that. Let me get in and see if it'll crank over.
Crank before fuel?
I guess go ahead and put some fuel in it.
Just a little?
Probably a little down both carbs. Make sure it's in neutral.
That was easy.
Almost too easy.
No, that wasn't me. Probably didn't give it.
There's no fuel in it.
Other than what I dumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and hook this up.
Your fuel tank?
Go ahead and throw a little more down there for primer.
Got a line already.
Got a line on it?
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be bad dad jokes today, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, let's see what she does.
Running on empty.
Well, that's awesome. Wow. That sounds really good.
That freeze plug started leaking pretty good when you were running it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's why I shut it down, as I figure there's not a lot of water coolant in it. Well, it runs. Also, while Cameron was under it, he looked at the transmission and it has a XS29L VIN number on it. So the transmission's out of a 68 Charger RT and should be an 18 spline. So how awesome is that?
Got a scatter shield and everything.
Indeed, it does have a scatter shield. This thing's going to be awesome at some point. Well, as with most of my videos, unfortunately, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to, mostly just because we're going to be waiting for parts. I did order all of this stuff for the front brakes, complete front brake kit. I've got to go get bearings next week when a store called Ipaco opens. I've mentioned that place before. Ball joints, a few other things for the front suspension. I couldn't find a freeze plug for it in town, so I'm waiting for that. Hopefully, all of that stuff will come next week, and next time you see this wagon in a video, we will be able to take it for a little drive. That's the goal. We're gonna hopefully make it, but as with a lot of my videos, I don't hit my goals because this is real. Not reality TV, this is real, and not everything goes how you want it to. Also looking at options, probably going to find a hood scoop for this that is basically like the original one. The air filter assemblies do not fit underneath the hood, and you definitely don't want to drive it with no filters. I mean, around the block or something is one thing, but if you're actually going to drive it down the road, you definitely don't want to do that. So looking into that, hopefully we'll be able to figure that all out and get it ordered soon. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for watching, for subscribing, for giving me your input. I really appreciate everything that you guys do as subscribers and watchers, just the support. Even just seeing the views of how many people watch my videos is really impressive to me. And seeing where people watch my videos, it's really cool to see all over the country. A lot of people in Australia and New Zealand. I think that is awesome. Canada, and of course right here in America. We've got people in the Middle East. Thank you all for watching my videos. I appreciate it, and I think it's really cool that you guys tune in, even if it's only for a few minutes of the video. It's really cool to me to know that you guys and gals all over the world are interested in not just my content, but these old cars, these American cars, and just cars in general. A lot of people don't appreciate what they are, but realistically, cars are history. Cars are art. They show what the design or what the style was in their day, and I just find it really cool. And as much as I'm a Mopar guy and an American car guy, I appreciate them all. I actually really love Volkswagens, but I'm 6'6", as I've mentioned before. So Volkswagens and Nissans. I love Nissans. I grew up with Nissans. My grandpa always had Nissans. Really cool cars, but I just don't fit in them. So I almost have no choice but love these old Mopars and American cars. But anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything else you guys would like to see specifically. I'm kind of a scatterbrain sometimes, as you guys know, and there's a couple other videos I've made or making about like 3 mistakes people make. I'm telling you a lot of these mistakes from experience, as I'll say in the next video I make of it, part 2 of the 3 mistakes. I'm as bad or worse than anybody when it comes to making these mistakes that I'm mentioning. So, you know, I'm learning as well. But anyway, thanks again and have a great day.